Good evening, everyone. We will start today's meeting. We will go in accordance of the hands raised. Right now, Sukriti Sharma, you can start your presentation.
Good evening, everyone. Myself Sukriti Sharma, and today I am going to give a presentation on my allotted task, and that is my fitness for apps requirement specification. I am going to start my presentation with introduction. My Fitness Pal is an ultimate health and fitness app designed to help you to achieve your goals and live a healthier life. Its easy to use interface and powerful tracking tools makes it simple for anyone to get started on their fitness journey. Now that let's talk about the target audience of my fitness collab. Fitness admire has conscious individuals and anyone looking for to improve their overall well-being are the primary target audience for my fitness collab. According to research studies, there has been a significant increase in the number of people who prioritize their health and fitness. The MyFitnessPal app is designed to cater to these individuals by providing them with a comprehensive platform to track their progress and achieve their fitness goals. Now let's talk about the features and functionalities of MyFitnessPal app. First one is track your food intake. The food tracking feature should allow users to easily log their meals and track their calories intake. The app should provide a database of foods with nutrition information and allow users to monitor their food consumption and make healthier choices. Second is set dietary goals. It helps the users to define their goals such as weight loss, maintenance, or muscle gain, and receives a personalized recommendations. Third is assess nutrition database. User can explore a vast database of foods and their nutrition information to make informed choice. It recommends daily intakes guidelines to users. Fourth is barcode scanning. The barcode scanning feature on MyFitnessPal app makes logging your meals a breeze. Simply scan the barcode on your food packaging, and the app will automatically log the nutrition information. This saves time and make it easy to stay on track with your goals. Use your phone's camera to scan barcode on your food packages for quick and accurate logging. Track your fitness. Users also log their exercise and physical activities to monitor their overall fitness progress. It provides an option to users to create personalized workout plans and track progress over time. Exercise tracking. The exercise tracking feature should allow users to log their workouts and track their calories burned. The app should provide a variety of exercises to choose from and allow users to input their own custom workouts. Progress tracking. User can keep track of their progress over time by monitoring their goals, nutrition, and exercise data. Graphical representations of progress also provide for visualization. Last one is personalized recommendations. Based on user profile and progress, personalized recommendations can also be provided to users for meal plans, exercise routines, and nutrition supplements. Specification for minimal viable product. First one is user registration and authentication. It allows users to create an account and log in with email or social media account. Second is user profile. Uh, so it allows users to create and edit their profile and including basic information such as name, age, weight, and height. Third is exercise logging. It allows users to log their exercise activities, including the type of activity, duration, and intensity. Fourth is nutrition information. It provides users with nutrition information for the food item they log, including calories, macronutrients, and micronutrients. Last one is fifth one is data synchronization. It ensures that user data is synchronized across multiple devices and platforms to provide seamless user experience. Last one is privacy and security. It ensures that user data is protected and secure, including compliance with relevant privacy regulations such as GDPR and CCPA. Now let's talk the technology that we are going to use in mindfulness for lab. First is artificial intelligence. AI algorithm is used to analyze food data to provide accurate nutrition information for a wide range of products. Machine learning algorithms also used to generate personalized recommendations based on dietary goals, preference, and previous interactions. MyFitnessPal app also use computer vision to enable barcode scanning, allowing users to quickly log food items and retrieve their nutrition information. AI-powered algorithms also used to track analyze user progress to provide insight patterns and suggestions for achieving individual goals. Second is Node.js. We also use Node.js in the backend to perform various functions such as server-side scripting and handling of API requests, efficient handling of content requests using an event-driven non-blocking input-output model, integration with various data storage systems such as database and cache systems, both for real communication and data streaming through WebSockets, integration with external APIs and services to enhance the app's functionality. Conclusion. In conclusion, the ideal MyFitnessPal app should provide users with a personalized and seamless experience to help them achieve their fitness goals by incorporating features such as food and exercise tracking, user profiles, and social features. The app can be a valuable tool for anyone looking to improve their health. These are the references that I used to make my presentation. Thank you. If anyone have any questions, then ask.
Okay, Sukriti. So firstly, there was a lot of information on the slides. Okay, so you need to compress that information into keywords. So there were some keywords while you were explaining, but there was still information below them. Don't keep that information on the slides, because if you read it off the slides, then it will not give a good impression. What you need to do is you need to keep it in the background. You can read it off from there, but here you just need to keep the keywords, and I need you to explain those keywords for that information. Okay. Uh, Other than that, I don't think there was any problem. If anything, I'll send it in your review. Okay. Thank you so much. Yash, you can start your presentation.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Myself, Yash Bangale. Today, I am going to explain which key components are used in air quality monitor. So, my explanation for my presentation is like, firstly, I am going to introduce about what I am going to explain, and then what is the need of air quality monitor, and then what is the key component, and then what type of a key components are present in it, and then working of that key component and the controller I used in this uh, system. And then I finally will conclude and start the question and answer session. Okay. So welcome to my presentation where I will going to explain about the key components and used in air quality monitor. So first question comes in our mind, why it is important to use air quality monitor. So here it is. Monitoring air quality is essential for determining environmental conditions and protecting human health. Next we will see need of air quality monitor. So here it is that it
Yash,
is impossible.
your
Yes,
slides
sir.
aren't changing. Only the first slide is visible.
1 minute, sir.
Yes.
1 minute.
Okay, now it is fine. Now the fourth slide is visible.
Okay, sir. Sir, shall I resume from fourth slide or from first slide only?
Resume for the fourth slide. It's fine.
Okay. So here it is that it is impossible to overestimate the value of monitoring air quality. Both the ecosystem and human health suffer from poor air quality. Understanding the cause of pollution, accessing the hazardous exposures, and putting into practices efficient mitigation measures all depends on accurate and trustworthy air quality monitoring system. So next there is a key components used in system. Uh, that is an air quality monitor is made up of various parts, but we will concentrate on one of the most important, that is sensor module, which we also called as a heart of a system. uh, then let's discuss about the sensor module we have used. That is a sensor module is a heart of an air quality monitor, which I discussed earlier. It detects and monitors numerous air contaminants in the real time to determine air quality. Then let's discuss about types of sensor in this system to identify particular contaminants. Uh, Air quality monitor employ many types of a sensor, particulate matter sensor, gas sensor, and VOC, which we call as a volatile organic compound sensor. And these are the most common types of sensor used in this. Uh, then first, we will discuss about the particulate matter sensor. So, about particulate matter sensor, which detects the concentration of airborne particles of various sizes, including PM1, PM2.5, and PM10. This sensor detects and measures particulate matter using diverse technologies such as optical laser or electrochemical sensor. Then second, we will discuss about the gas sensor. So gas sensor are essential for monitoring certain certain gases in the atmosphere, such as carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen dioxide, ozone, and so on. To properly measure gas concentration, there are technologies such as electrochemical processes, gas absorptions, and photonization detection. And then third sensor, which is VOC, which we call it as a volatile organic compound. So VOC sensor detects and measures the presence of numerous volatile organic compound in the air. To monitor VOC concentration, they use several detection technologies such as photonization detectors or a metal oxide sensor. Then further we will discuss about the working principle of all these sensors. First for PM sensor like optical sensor works on the light scattering or absorption principle to access particle concentration. They produces light and detect the interaction between the particles in the air sample and emitted light. Second, there is a gas sensor. Depending on the types of sensor, gas sensor detects certain gases via a variety of processes. Electrochemical reaction, gas absorption, and other chemical processes that turns gas concentration into electrical signal are example of this mechanism. Then third, about VOC sensors. VOC sensor monitors VOC concentration using detecting technologies such as photonization or gas absorption. This process turns the presence of VOCs into electrical signals that may then be measured and analyzed. Then about main component, or we can call it as a controller, is Arduino. The Arduino, often known as a CPU, handles data processing and calibration. The Arduino, is a well-known microcontroller board that is used on a Atmega 328P processor, and it has a digital and analog input-output pins that may be configured to communicate with the other electronic component. Then, talking about its pin configuration, pin 0 to 13 are digital GPIO pins. Then A0 to A5, that is double as analog input pins in addition to being digital GPIO pins. There are three ground pins, that is ground 1, which is on the top of the board next to pin 13. And there are ground 2 and ground 3, which are on the button. Then we use a V-in pin, which we call as a 5-volt pin, or connected to positive power supply, which help to for the power supply to electrical components or sensor or any actuator. Then we have digital pins 3, 5, 6, 9, 10, and 11, which have a hardware support of hardware PWM support. And then after all this explanation, finally the sensor module is a important component of an air quality monitor, since it allows for the detection and measured of a numerous contaminants. Accurate and dependable air quality monitor is critical for preserving public health and environment. Further, these are the references I have used in this. I have used Atmo tube type of sensor, which is a means series of system, air quality monitor system. Uh, so I have used the component used in it and its processes from these reference links. Then I appreciate for your preference and participation in today's presentation, and thank you for your attention. And uh, if you have any, I am happy to answer any question you may have, or can email and mobile me on that given number. Thank you, sir. So,
Yes.
yes,
So
sir.
while looking at the task, you were told to create a block diagram of an air quality monitor showing the interconnection between the various components. That was missing from your presentation.
Sir, I have just received a title as a key component used in air quality monitor.
Exactly, that is fine. But in that itself, it is written. There were four
No, sir,
points
just
given.
1 minute, sir. I will show you.
I'm just telling that it needs to be there, okay? So while
Okay,
presenting
sir,
for
no
the key
problem.
okay? So while presenting the key components, try to keep an air quality monitor block diagram so that
Okay, sir.
all the how these sensors are connected with each other and how they are working, that needs to be explained further, okay? That is
Okay,
fine.
sir.
Other than that, there was no issue, okay? Just that
Okay, sir.
one thing was missing, that's why. And a short story needs to be included. uh,
Okay.
so the story should be of the significance of your project. So every project has a small significance outside of its curriculum boundaries.
Yeah.
That is in the real life. So
Okay.
so you need to explain us. You need to give a story of 10-15 seconds. Need to explain the significance of the project outside of your curriculum activities. Okay.
Okay.
Other than that, there's nothing that was missing. Okay. Try to keep
Okay,
these
sir.
2 points in mind.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much, Yash. Uh, Next we have Binayak Das.
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
So, good evening, everyone. I am Vinayak Das, and today's topic for my presentation is the a project timeline on real-time stock market data web application. So, throughout the presentation, I'll be going through these contents. First, we will see the story of the project, introduction, then to project timeline document, then we will see the Gantt chart, then we will jump to conclusion, references, and then Q&A. So before I begin, I would like to tell you a story to show the significance of this task project timeline. So it's a story about me. So I have been given this task, but it's a really big task because there are so many technologies involved in this task to complete it. So I was really confused how to proceed, how to manage everything, all these kinds of technologies. Thanks to Hackweather, I found out about the project timeline and a Gantt chart. So through that, I am able to manage my tasks on weekly basis of 2 months, and I can show that each and every task is done weekly in an efficient way so that I can complete it in an easy manner without any problems. So the introduction. So what is project timeline? So project timeline is basically a roadmap or schedule that depicts the sequence in which tasks and activities are to be executed within a project. So it provides a clear outline of task durations, their interdependencies, significant milestones, and the overall time frame required to complete the entire project. It enables project managers and team members to grasp the project's flow of activities, their relationships, and how they contribute to achieving project objectives. So basically, project timeline helps developers to manage and deliver a successful web application in a given time frame easily. Now see what is Gantt chart. So Gantt chart is basically a popular project management tool that provides a visual representation of a project schedule. So a Gantt chart consists of horizontal bars that represents project tasks or activities. The chart is plotted against a time scale, typically in days, weeks, or months. In my case, I have distributed the task in weeks, then in further days, we will see in the upcoming slide. Then Gantt chart helps in identifying critical paths, managing project schedules, and tracking progress towards project completion. So basically, Gantt chart helps us to understand and implement the task better in a weekly or monthly basis and provide efficiency. So let us see the project document timeline. So this is the real-time stock market web data application project timeline document. These are the basic requirements of the project. It should be real-time stock market data. It should give the real-time stock market data. User authentication and security should be there so that only the users which have their account can only access the application and not anyone else. It should be in an easy to understand format, which means that the data which is extracted from the API should be shown in an easy to understand format, like in the form of pie chart, line chart, bar chart, etc. It should have a responsive design as well, like it should run on laptop as well as smartphones or tablets or PC screen without any problems. These are the technology stacks which I have used. For front end, I have used HTML, CSS, JavaScript, React.js. For backend, I have used Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB. For the APIs, I have used AlphaVantage API and News API. For data visualization, I have used chart.js and d3.js. For the authentication and security, I have used JSON Web Tokens, and for the deployment, I have used Apache and Amazon Web Services. I have described each and every of these technologies in details in my previous presentation, which was the project synopsis. So these are the tasks which I have divided in weeks. For the first month, in week 1, the first task is the introduction to React.js. So basically, we will understand the components of React.js. We will understand the JSX syntax and state management in React.js, which will basically take us 5 days. Then the second task will be to set up the development environment. We will install the Node.js, create a new React.js application, and set up a basic file structure, which will take us 2 days. Then moving on to the second week, the first task of second week is to style the application, which means we will be using CSS or Sass to create a responsive design and enhance the user interface. Then the second task is to implement user authentication. We will be setting up user authentication using JSON Web Tokens and passport.js so that users can create account and log in through that. It will take 3 days in the second week. Then moving on to the third week of first month, the first task will be to pull data from APIs. And then we will understand the AlphaVantage API, how it basically works, how it pulls the data from the stock market. and then we will it will take 4 days. So in the second task, we will display the data on the front end. We will be using React.js components to display the real-time stock market data in an easy to understand format. Like I explained, like in the form of pie chart or graph chart or bar chart, etc. It will take 3 days. Then moving on to the fourth week, we will be adding search functionality. We will be adding search functionality to the application to allow users to search for the specific stocks. It will take 4 days. Then the second task will be to test and debug the application. We will be using testing frameworks such as Jest and Enzyme to test the application and debug errors. It will take 3 days. Then moving on to the second month, the first week of the second month, the first task will be to implement data visualization, like adding data visualization to the application using chart libraries like d3.js or chart.js, so that we can show the data in an easy to understand format through the API, which we have extracted from the APIs, the information which we have extracted. It will take 4 days. Then the second task is to handle errors and edge cases. We will be handling errors and edge cases in application such as incorrect input or API errors, those kind of errors. It will take 3 days. Then on the second week, the first task is to build the backend of the project. We will be using Node.js and Express.js. Then we will be create an API to handle user authentication, data retrieval, and data manipulation. It will take 2 days. Then moving on to the third week, we will be the first task will be to integrate the news API. We will be integrating the news API to display relevant news articles related to the selected stocks, which will take 4 days. Then the second task will be to implement real-time updated data using web sockets to ensure the data displayed is always up to date, which will take 3 days. Then moving on to the fourth week, our first task will be to optimize the performance. We will be trying to make our application much more better, much more efficient for the users using techniques such as code splitting, lazy loading, and caching. It will take 6 days. And finally, the last task will be to deploy the application to the web server so that all the users can access the application. We will be using Heroku or AWS, which will take 1 day. Now moving on to the presentation, let's see the Gantt chart. So this is how the Gantt chart looks like. On the row section, we have all the tasks which are mentioned, and on the column section, all the weeks are mentioned for month 1 and month 2. So first task, as I explained, is introduction to React.js. For week 1, it will take 5 days. Then setting up the development environment, which will take 2 days in week 1. Then we will styling the application, which will take 4 days of the second week, and implementing user authentication, which will take 3 days of the second week. Then pulling the data from APIs, which will take 4 days of the third week. Then displaying data on the front end, which will take 3 days of the week 3. Then adding search functionality, as I explained, which will take 4 days. Then testing and debugging, which will take 3 days. Then moving on to the second month, we will be implementing data visualization, which will take 4 days. And we will handle errors and edge cases, which will take 3 days. Again, then building the backend, which will take 5 days of the second week, and creating the APIs, which will take 2 days of the second week. Then we will integrate the news API, which will take 4 days of the third week. Then we will implement the real-time updates, which will take 3 days of the week 3. Then optimizing the performance, which will take 6 days of the fourth week, final week of the second month. Then finally, deploying the application, which will take 1 day. So the conclusion of the entire presentation is that project timelines are dynamic and needs to be adjusted according to developers and developer schedule and project requirements. So the project timeline comprises 2 months, each dedicated to distinct tasks with well-defined objectives. So by following this structured project timeline diligently, we can guarantee smooth and efficient advancement, culminating to the successful delivery of the real-time stock market data web application. So these are the references which I have used, the project manager website and the ChatGPT website. if you have any questions, please let me know. And for any queries, you can contact me on my Gmail account. Thank you so much.
Okay, Binayak. So, firstly, try to educate people about Gantt charts before you make a Gantt chart. Okay, so in this explanation, you could have explained about the Gantt charts first and how to read the Gantt charts. At the same time, the format of your Gantt chart needs to be improved because
Okay.
that is not how you write a Gantt chart. Just 2 weeks arrows. That is not how you do it. Okay, so look it up on the internet itself. There are images of different Gantt charts. You'll know how to make a Gantt chart. Okay, because
Okay.
that Gantt chart will not count. At the same time, try avoid reading things off of the slides. So whatever you need to explain, don't keep it on the slide. Keep those key points for that thing. Keep a one, two key points or keywords. Let it be anything. So you keep those keywords or key points and then you explain on yourself. If you cannot remember that information, you keep it behind in the notepad or Word document. You read it off from there, but don't keep it on the slide because it doesn't look good when you read off of the slides. Okay. Uh, Other than that, there were no problems. These are only the problems that I had. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Thank you so much. MD Sohaib, you can start your presentation.
Good evening, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah, you're audible.
Is my screen visible, sir?
Yes, your screen is visible. You can start.
Okay. Good evening, sir. My name is Mohammed Suhail. I'm currently pursuing my bachelor's degree in information technology from Loyola Ecom College in Chennai. My presentation is about the overview of the project synopsis, and my project is real-time stock market data web application. First, let's see the table of content. I'm going to begin with an introduction. Then we'll go on with the objective of the application, then the key features of the application. Then I'll explain the tech stack or the technologies which I've used to create this web application. Then I'll explain the working of the application. Then how I have created the entire process, I will explain. And then I'll explain the challenges. And then I'll show the documentation and conclude. So firstly, consider you are a stock trader or an investor in the 1990s. You had to do all your tradings physically at the trade center or the stock market. The investors faced the major problem, which was stocks prices can change suddenly in matter of blinks of an eye, in matter of seconds. Opportunities can come and go. Investors used to miss these opportunities because of a physical stock market. But now in the age of technology, you don't have to miss anything anymore because of applications like this, which is a real-time stock market data web application with which you can stay updated at all times about everything related to the stock market, whether it is about the stock prices, the latest news, or whatever it may be. You no longer have to wait for outdated information or look the latest news or whatever. You don't even have to look through newspapers or something. You can get everything in your pocket within your fingertips. First, let me tell you about this application. It provides all the real-time stock market data or news or anything you need to know about your stock, your prices, or whatever it may be. You can maintain a personal portfolio of all the stocks that you have selected and which you are investing in, or like a wish list also you can keep, like the stock which you are interested in and want to invest in later. There are search functions so that you can search for any stock, any company which you want. And there is a specific news section so that you can stay updated on all information in the physical world. So the objective of this project is to track the real-time stock market data in an easy to understand manner. That is, everyone can understand it. It's not like you need to learn how to use this app or something. It's easy to understand. It will display everything in a chart manner and in bar charts and diagrams so that you can easily understand. You don't need to read something like that. Also, there is a feature for security so that all your stocks details and information are safe so that no one else can access it. So the key features of the application is we'll begin with the first one, which is the real-time stock market data. That is, all the information are real-time. Within seconds, the information might change. It's not like old news, or it will change once a day. Not like that. It will change within seconds. And also, we have a feature for user authentication and security. That is, you can set passwords and locks so that no one else can access your account, your data. The format is easy to understand so that everyone can understand it. There's no complex, nothing. The design is responsive, which is you can use it in any device, whether it be your mobile phone in your pocket, or laptop, or your computer, or just your iPad or tab or something. Now I'll begin with the tech stack, that is the technologies which I've used. So first, for the front end, I've used HTML to give the basic structure of the website, then CSS to style the website, JavaScript to add the dynamic behavior to the website. Then I use React.js to build interactive user interfaces, which is more efficient than using simple JavaScript, the vanilla JavaScript. And then for backend, we have Node.js, which is a cross-platform runtime environment, which can be used for running the web application outside the client browser. And then we have Express.js. So we can use Express.js for backend. It's a framework which provides broad features for building web and mobile applications. It is a layer built on top of the Node.js, which can help manage the service and routes. And then we have MongoDB for a database. It is a document-oriented database program. It's a NoSQL. It is classified as a NoSQL database program. Then API. API is an application. API stands for Application Programming Interface. It is a way for two or more computer applications to communicate with each other. It is a type of software interface. It offers a service to other pieces of software. For example, we start here with a client. In this diagram, we can see the client gives a request, and the API works as a waiter, which conducts its request to the API server. And whatever data is relayed by the API server, it takes it back to the client as a response. So for APIs, we are going to use two things. First is the Alpha Vantage API to get the real-time stock market data, and News API, which used to get all the relevant news about the physical world. Then we'll continue with the working of the website. So first thing is the user will land on a landing page, which will open the first, which is the first thing that will open when the user clicks the link. And then from there, the user has to either sign up if he is a new user, or if he already has an account. If he already has an account, then they can just log in. In the authentication page, they will have to give their username and password. First, the verification of the password will take place. If it is verified, then it will take us to the search page, from where we can search whatever information we need to search. Like we can search for a particular company, and then the API request will be sent to the stock market database. And from there, the response will be displayed in a visualized chart manner in the front end of the application so that the user can see it. So the main steps in the working of the website is, first we'll start with the user registration and authentication. First, the user will create an account. The application stores the user data, and upon subsequent visit, the users can log in using their credentials to access the features and personalized settings of the application. Then we'll have the real-time data integration, which is the web application integrates real-time data using an API such as Alpha Vantage. And then the application sends the request to the API to fetch the stock market data. The API responds with the requested data. It's then processed and displayed to the user. Then we'll have the data presentation and visualization, which is the response which you are getting from the API, the fetched data. It is presented to a user in an easy to understand format. Charts, graphs, and tables, etc., can be used to visualize the data. we can use technologies like Chart.js or D3.js. Then we have alerts and notifications features can also be added, so that whenever a new development occurs in the stock, or the price changes or something in the interested stock, we can get a notification or an alert so that we can quickly act on it. And then portfolio management features can be added so that their interested stocks can be kept. And news feature is there, as I said, and responsive design so that we can use it in any device. Then we'll start with the process of creation of the website. So first thing is the project setup and architecture. This is the first step. We have to start by setting up the project structure, and then create a new directory for our project and initialize it as a Node.js project using npm or yarn. And then we set up the server side using Node.js and Express.js, and create an Express.js server to handle the HTTP request and serve the web application. Then we set up the database using MongoDB, install and configure MongoDB to store user data or any other necessary data. Then we will go with the next step, which is the front-end development. So first, we use HTML and CSS to create the basic structure and styling of the web application. Then we leverage the power of React.js to build interactive and dynamic components. Then we divide the application into reusable components to maintain a modular and scalable code base. Then we utilize React Router to handle client routing and navigation within the application. So when we navigate from one section to another, we can use React Router to handle it. And then we implement user authentication using JSON web tokens or sessions. We can store the user credentials securely and handle user login and registration processes. And go with the third step, which is the real-time stock market data integration, which is we are going to use an API like Alpha Vantage, so that we can make HTTP requests to the API endpoint and then retrieve the stock market data. And then once we receive the data, the response is shown visualized in the fourth step, which is data visualization. We utilize JavaScript libraries like Chart.js to visualize stock market data in the form of chart. Then we can implement search and filtering features also to display stock prices in whatever company or stock we want to search for. Then the fifth step is to work with the responsive design and the cross-browser compatibility. That is, we have to ensure that this application works in all devices as well as in all web browsers. Like for example, we have to ensure that it works in Chrome, Edge, or Opera, etc. Then the sixth step is the final step, which is the testing, deployment, and maintenance. So first, we have to test that our website works. We can use applications like Postman to check the API and the backend so that the requests are working fine. And then we can deploy it on web servers like Heroku or AWS. Then we have to maintain the application throughout in regular time intervals so that we can ensure that the application is working fine. Now, the challenges which we face while creating this application. So there are many challenges. Some of the main ones are data accuracy. It's like we have to ensure that the data which we are displaying on the website application is accurate so that the client is benefited. And then there are limitations to the API which we have to check. And also we have to ensure that the data is in an easy to understand format so that the client can understand. And also we have to work with the security and authentication so that our application is secure. No one can access it other than the user itself. And then we have to work on the scalability and performance. That is, when the application handles a large amount of data, we have to ensure that there will be no problems with the application. And also we have to work with the user experience and design. I'll show the documentation of my project. So this is a documentation. I have documented everything I've worked on for this project, for this presentation. It is everything that I have already explained in the presentation. I've just stored it in a documented manner so that it is properly documented and not lost. So we have how the website works and every step of how the website works. Then the process of creation. So all the steps which are needed for the application to work. Then the challenges. Then the conclusion. I'll go back to my presentation. So in conclusion, uh, the real-time stock market data web application, it provides a powerful and user-friendly platform for investors to track and analyze stock market data in real time. We are leveraging modern technologies like APIs, etc., to create a robust and scalable solution that delivers accurate and up-to-date information to our users. It offers all our key features like discussed, like the real-time data and user authentication, data visualization, etc. And we have also prioritized user experience so that the users have a pleasant experience while using our application. Throughout the development process, we have faced several challenges like data accuracy, etc. But we successfully overcame them through careful planning and implementation. Looking ahead, we plan to have future enhancements to the application so that we can keep updating it and upgrading it and enhancing the feel of the application so that the user is satisfied with our application. Finally, that is basically these are the references that I have used for Node.js, React.js, Express.js, Alpha Vantage API, News API, and MongoDB. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to.
So there was a stock screener application that you had to make, right?
My project is basically overview of project synopsis. There's the synopsis only you have to do for the first half.
Okay, for the first time it is that much only. Okay, it is week one is divided, right?
Yes.
Okay, that is fine.
First, this is the first task I did the doctor search website, and this is the second task.
Okay, understood. Okay. So I didn't find any problems with your presentation most of the time because you had explained well, the flow was good, you knew what you were talking about at the same time. Everything was well explained and structured, which was a very nice thing of you. At the same time, you have created a document wherein you have all the data, so that was a good thing to do. So if I re-review your presentation, I'll again see it. If I find any problems, I'll send it on your review itself. Okay. Try to improve upon that. Okay.
Okay. Sir,
Thank
I have a doubt.
Yes,
For my last presentation, I think Saurabh sir was here,
Okay.
and he forgot to review a mark and I marked it because I didn't receive it. And in the technical chat, I posted a message stating that I didn't receive my marks. He said that they don't have record of it as well. So they asked me to inform the Scrum manager in the next presentation.
Okay. So
Please
don't worry
please.
about the marks. Okay, Sohib. So you'll definitely receive the marks. Okay. It might have happened that he would have faced any problem. That's why he couldn't do it. But you will definitely receive it because it is always in the back of the mind that yeah, I have to send
Sure.
to. Okay, so don't worry about that. You'll not receive it. It has been definitely marked, and you will receive it. I'll tell him again, but I know without telling him, he'll do it. Okay, so don't worry about it.
And also about the internship certificate, when can we apply for it?
For the internship certificate after your probation period, that is, I think 2-3
That is
months.
for stipend, I think. I asked in the technical chat that as
Yes.
well. They told me to apply after the presentation is done. So I'm asking.
Okay. Right now, I don't know. I'll come back to you with an answer. Okay, just put your email ID in the chat, then I'll tell you. Okay, through that.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Sohit.
Thank you.